There are two types of people I do not trust: people who don't know how to cook and people who do not like The Cure. Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Myro, and as I mentioned previously in my last video, today we're gonna cover a small band you may heard of from Crawley, England, and the band is of course The Cure, led by Robert Smith. The Cure has been for a very long time my favorite band, especially in my teens and when I was in elementary school and high school. If you would ask me 20 years ago to rank these albums and to rate them, I would rate every album 10 out of 10 masterpiece. Every song is perfect, everything is perfect, but of course that's not true. And today I'm gonna do a proper ranking of these albums, and I have to say right off the bat, right from the start, that they don't have a bad album in my opinion. They do have some mediocre albums, but all in all, they have pretty consistent discography. They released 13 albums so far, and last being in 2008. And we've been waiting for Robert Smith to announce and that album for I don't know how long. They played a couple of songs from that record live. I don't know, five or six of them actually, and it's actually expected for them to release that album during this year. But you know what? I cannot wait for Robert Smith to do that. So I'm gonna cover that album when it comes, if it comes out. But today we're gonna count and rank those studio recording records they released so far, and also I'm gonna include a Japanese Whispers from 1983. I will count that as a studio album because it has all the components to for a studio album. I mean, it's almost 30 minutes long. It has all of the songs that are never released previously on any album. There were B-sides and singles. So yeah, I'm gonna count that one as well. So let's get this started. At number 14, I have an album that I always had a love-hate relationship with. And when I said previously that if you'd ask me 20 years ago, how would I rate and rank the Cure albums and songs, and I said that everything was perfect, 10 out of 10. Well, I lied. Yes, I lied. I'm sorry, I lied. The album is Wild Mood Swings, and I never liked that one. I never liked it back then when I was a kid and when it started to go into The Cure and all. I remember that was, I believe, in 2003 or something. I was listening the albums from Three Imaginary Boys to Bloodflowers one by one, and everything was great. And then I heard this one, and it starts off greatly with Want. Want is a great song. I love that one. And soon after that one is finished, we have Club America, and I was kind of, what the fuck is happening here? Vocals here are seems weird and off, and I don't like that song one bit. The singles also are, well, they're not bad, but they're not great either. I mean, the 13th is, I don't know, man. I don't like it. Mint Car is fine, but it's not great. I mean, Robert comparing Mint Car to Friday I'm in Love and even stating that it's better. Well, nope, nope, definitely not. I do not remember Mint Car at all, and I heard this album I don't know how many times in my life, and Mint Car is totally a forgettable track from this album. Gone is totally fine actually as a single. I like that one. I like Numb. Jupiter Crash is also an interesting song, so that's a plus as well. I mean, they were trying. This album is over an hour long, and that's a problem because the song quality is not great for that kind of length. I mean, they did that on Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, and Wish, and the other albums, but on those albums you had great bunch of songs. Here, not so much. And actually, I had this one at 3 stars, and I'm currently debating should it be 3 stars. I think it's more 2.5 than 3 stars, but Just because of a couple of songs I like here, I'm gonna stay at 3 stars and low 3 stars, mind you. So yeah, this album is not great, but it's not terrible either. So yeah, I have it at 3 stars, and the only song I actually ever listened from this album is the opening track Want, which in a way is similar to the songs they did on Wish, like Open, and on Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, The Kiss. I mean, they have similar vibe, a similar feeling to it, and that's why I love it. And it actually it's pretty great song. I mean, I was surprised that everything that came after that song was not good. So yeah. So number 14, Wild Mood Swings, 3 stars. At number 13, we have their self-titled album from 2004, The Cure. I remember when this came out, this was actually my first Cure record that I was listening when it was released, and I was over the moon, to be honest with you. I liked every song here. I was blown away. I really like the singles, Taking Off, The End of the World, Alt N, Anniversary. I liked Labyrinth Before 3. I was, hooked. But that was 20 years ago, and I was wrong. Really, really wrong. This album today, when I listen to it, it just feels off. I mean, first of all, the production. Let's talk about the production. The production here is awful. I mean, it just doesn't work. I mean, this is Cure for crying out loud, not Limp Bizkit or Slipknot. And since the producer of the record is Ross Robinson, who produced mostly those new metal bands, and except a couple of songs like Lost or and Never, the production doesn't work at all, especially on those popular tracks, which are actually pretty decent, pretty good. Those that I mentioned, Taking Off, Alt and Before 3, all fine songs, but the production destroyed them. And this is the only reason I have this low. And yeah, I mean, beside not being the best Cure record, I have this one at 3 stars as well, but higher on my list. Um, Higher than Wild Mood Swings. I believe it's a better record, but the production just, I don't know. It killed the album for me. And also, the album is really long. I believe it's over 70 minutes. So, yeah, they could trim down a couple of tracks. I mean, they have the song The Promise that is over 10 minutes, and no, not a great song. So, yeah, I have this one at 3 stars as well. At number 12, we have an album that I personally know many people love and have in top five even, and I'm not sure why, to be honest. I remember this album uh, being good when I listened to it back in the day. I enjoyed it. Even I had it higher on my imaginary rankings. So the album is Bloodflowers from 2000. And I don't know, this one is kind of weird. They Robert want to to make another Disintegration or Pornography, or I don't know. He even calls Bloodflowers, Disintegration, and Pornography some sort of trilogy of albums, which I don't see the connection, to be honest, especially between Pornography and any of these two records. I mean, it has similarities with Disintegration, yeah, that's true, but not with Pornography. Pornography doesn't even have some connections with Disintegration as well. So this was an odd thing to do. They even did a tour back in the day. I remember that when they when where they played all three albums, one after another on some in Berlin, I believe, or something like that. I mean, I really like that live show, live performance. It's great, but is Bloodflowers great? No, it's not. It is a decent record. Some of the tracks here are really good, like I really like The Last Day of Summer, There Is No If. I like Out of This World, the opening track. But there are some songs here that I don't like Watching Me Fall. I mean, it starts off good, but it keeps going on and going and going and going and for over 11 minutes. And sorry, but not that interesting track. 39 is fine. Bloodflowers, the title track, also okay, but I don't know. Um, Even Robert Smith stated that some of the tracks here needed to be trimmed, but he didn't find a way how to do it. No, it just doesn't work. So I have this one at 3 stars. At number 11, I have their last studio album, the last one they released so far, and that is 413 Dream from 2008. And to be honest, I don't even know what that title means, but doesn't matter. This one is much better album than any of the previous three that I mentioned. I have this one at 3.5 stars. I think it's pretty good actually for an album that I never expected to be this good. Um, some of the songs here are really good and maybe the best song they done, since Wish era. And the song in question, my personal favorite from the album, is The Hungry Ghost. Great song. Really love that song. Also, Sleep When I'm Dead. Great song. And I believe that song was actually uh, from sessions from the Head on the Door. So they had a demo of it and they decided to record it for this album. It opens up with Underneath the Stars, which is basically Plain Song Part 2. And okay, it's fine. I like it. I mean, it's not plain song quality good, but it's still pretty good. Um, I like the production here is much better than on the previous one. I believe this one was produced by Robert Smith and co-produced with Keith Udin, and it sounds much better than the self-titled album. This one is also shorter. It's 52 minutes, which is good. Still, I could, easily could have cut a couple of tracks here, but all in all, a pretty solid album that they released this late in their careers. I really like the songs like The Only One, Freak Show, nice song. As I mentioned, Hungry Ghost, a great one. Sleep When I'm Dead, The Scream. I mean, there are some decent songs here, and I can see this album being higher on my list. But for now, it is gonna stay here and at 3.5 stars at number 11. At number 10, I had their debut album from 1979, Three Imaginary Boys, and I believe this is a great debut record and the album that I come back to often. I really like listening to it. There are a couple of songs here that are always on my playlist, like 10:15 Saturday Night, Accuracy, Grinding Halt, then the title track, Three Imaginary Boys, Fire in Cairo, great songs. And the funny thing is, the only song that I kind of, I'm scared listening to, but literally scared listening to, is the Subway song. First time I heard that song, I was like, it scared the shit out of me. Literally, I almost fell off my chair with that jump scare in the end. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Did not expect that at all. All in all, it's a really good record. And funny thing is, Robert Smith was kind of pissed because record company decided to, uh, they decided which song to put and which song not to put on the album and on which order, and he was kind of pissed because of that. And they released shortly after they released the EP, the first compilation album, Boys Don't Cry. So I'm gonna mention that one as well because it some people tend to look that album as the, you know, actual debut album by the band, and I can see them. I can see that because it's consisting of songs from Three Imaginary Boys and a couple of other tracks. Boys Don't Cry, um, Killing an Arab, and Jumping Someone Else's Train. All great songs. And if I would rate that album, that compilation album, Boys Don't Cry, it would be higher on my list for sure. I would have it even at 4 stars, because it flows perfectly and the songs are more packed than on Three Imaginary Boys. And regarding Three Imaginary Boys, The title track, it kind of foreshadows what's to come. I mean, it kind of foreshadows that gothic cure that's soon to come on the next album. So I have it at 3.5 stars. At number 9, I have an album that maybe some people have higher, and maybe it's a controversial pick, but this is how I feel and always felt about this one. It is their second studio album, 17 Seconds from 1980. Um, it is this album marks a beginning, a shift in their sound towards more gloomy gothic rock sound. And as soon as they finished touring with Susie and the Banshees as a supporting act, they started writing this record. And there was some kind of commotion in the band at that time with Robert Smith and the bass player Michael Dempsey, who didn't like the musical direction they were going, um, and they were going to take. So he left the band, and yeah, it kind of marks a change in their sound, hinted on even on their debut, as I mentioned on the title track, Three Imaginary Boys. And yeah, this is a great record. The first single, fantastic. I mean, one of their best songs and most recognizable Cure songs, that being A Forest. Great song. That's the funny thing. That's the only song I knew how to play on my acoustic guitar back in the day. So yeah, great album. I really like that song. I really like the title track. I like Play for Today, more fast up-tempo song, and maybe the most underrated song here on the record would be In Your House. Also a really good song, and the sound they started here, they're gonna perfect it and actually further develop it on the next couple of records on Faith and Pornography. So yeah, I have this one at high 3.5 stars, so which means it's pretty good. At number 8, I have maybe their most underrated album. I think I had it higher previously, but when I re-listened to the albums before doing this, it kind of fell off a bit, but still think it's a great record, and it's a really important record in the discography as a transitional record, you may say, between that gloomy and the gothic rock Cure and more poppier Cure, which then they will, continue to develop on the albums like The Head on the Door, and which will come just a year later, basically. The album in question is The Top from 1984. This is their fifth studio album, and like I said, this marks a change in their sound. Robert Smith, I think he wrote every song here, and they started to incorporate more different instruments, more like violin, flute, and there's some Spanish guitar, and you know, it is varied album with really great poppier tracks, and one of their, the first single from this one is The Caterpillar. I actually, when I was a kid, when I listened to The Cure, I never liked that song, but now I do, which is odd since it is pretty, kid-friendly, catchy song, I must say. It is, yeah, a really nice song, but it is not my favorite on the album. My favorite on the album is for sure the opening track. I really like that moodier Cure than poppier Cure, even though they are great at both. The opening track, Shake Dog Shake, great song. I heard that song live twice, and I'm glad they playing it live constantly. Also, I really like Piggy in the Mirror. It is a really interesting and fun song. Bird Mad Girl, also great song. Dressing Up is a really funny, upbeat, up-tempo song. I like that one. Banana Fish Bones as well. So yeah, the album gets hated a lot and trashed, bashed, but I think it's a pretty solid and good record with some great tracks. I have this one at 4 stars. At number 7, I have their album, their second compilation album that I mentioned in the beginning of the video that I'm gonna count, and that is Japanese Whispers from 1983. Like I said, already explained why I'm including this one, and yeah, this album marks also like the top that is from the same time period when they were, experimenting with different sound and a more popular approach to their songwriting after Pornography and after Simon left the band. This one is full of catchier, poppier tunes. For example, Let's Go to Bed, The Walk, The Love Cats. It is, those three songs are actually pretty common in their live shows as well. Pretty catchy album in general. I think it is shame that it wasn't released as an official record as the top was. Um, so yeah, and the funny thing is, this album was the first Cure album to enter Billboard 200 in the US in 1984. So there's something in that as well. And yeah, they continue after releasing this compilation. They continue with the top, as I already previously mentioned. This album also features more keyboards. It is more, there is some kind of influence of synth pop in it as well. So all in all, I really like it, and I have it at 4 stars as well. At number six, I have their third studio album, Fate, from 1981, and in similar fashion, it's a continuation of the style and sound that they started to develop on 17 Seconds, which is more, gothic, doom and gloom feel. And Yeah, this album, from just looking at the cover art, and you know what to expect. It is doom and gloom, baby, throughout. The album has much better production than 17 Seconds. The bass is great, played by Simon Gallup. He's a great bass player, and he did a tremendous job on these early records, especially the trio of records, which are 17 Seconds, Fate, and Pornography. Um, some of the songs I really like here are Primary, Cats Are Grey, The Funeral Party. Really, really solid album. And I have to be in a specific mood to listen to it from start to finish. Um, it is a great album, a better one than 17 Seconds, more coherent album in general than the previous one. So yeah, I have this one at 4 stars. At number five, I have maybe a controversial opinion since I know many people have this much higher. It's a fantastic album, but I have a couple of others ahead of it. So yeah, it was difficult to rate it. I had it previously at 5 stars, but not anymore. I have it at 4.5 stars, and the album is the Pornography from 1982. This is their fourth studio album, and it's a continuation of sound they started on 17 Seconds, Fate, and now Pornography. And when I mentioned earlier that Robert Smith stating that the trio of albums, Pornography, Disintegration, and Bloodflowers, make a trilogy of albums, I don't feel it. Pornography is almost completely different than Disintegration or Bloodflowers. Pornography, Faith, and 17 Seconds maybe can be called a trilogy of albums since they share the similar artistic, style and sound. Um, and this is the last album with Simon Gallup on the bass before he left the band for some time. And soon after he left, funny thing, they started to develop more, poppier sound. And soon after Pornography, they released Japanese Whispers, The Top, The Head on the Door. So much more poppier sound, all in all. And this album is also doom and gloom, and the bass playing here is fantastic. I really like how deep and loud the bass is on all of these songs. One of my favorite songs here is The Hanging Garden, 100 Years, The Figurehead, great song. The title track, really good album from start to finish, and same thing as with Faith. I have to be in a specific mood to listen to this album. So maybe that's the reason I have both of them, not in top three, for example. But yeah, great album, and one of the, great important milestone in the development of that gothic rock style in general. So yeah, 4.5 stars for Pornography. At number four, and my first five-star Cure album is Wish from 1992. Uh, I know this album grew on me a lot over the years. I never had it this high before, but I think it's a great record. It is it the production I really like. It's a bit long, yes, but I think the songs are really strong. So, you know, it kind of can support that album length. Um, it is their most successful album, I think, up to date. So yeah, it contains one of their best popular songs ever, which is Friday I'm in Love, maybe one of the best pop songs of the 90s. It opens up with my favorite song from this album, and also one of my songs that is in top 10 Cure favorite songs, Open. Great song. Then it goes to High, and there is also, like, on Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, the variety of songs. There's some doom and gloom, and also there are some happy, catchy, popular tunes as well. Some of the songs I really like are, like I mentioned, Open, High, From the Edge of the Deep Green Sea, Friday I'm in Love, Letter to Elise. I like The End, Trust. I mean, great album from start to finish, and uh, it is, in a way, I think, an underrated record as well, since I'm not sure, haven't seen that many, rankings, Q ranking videos, but I have a feeling that this album is not as high as on someone's list. But yeah, fantastic album. I really like it, and I get to listen to that one really often. So 5 stars for Wish. At number three, I have their sixth overall studio album from 1985, The Head on the Door. And what a dramatic, jump in quality from the top to The Head on the Door. I mean, it is astonishing to me that in that short span they released Top, and just a year later we have The Head on the Door. No, I'm not saying that Top is bad, it's far from it, but I mean, The Head on the Door is a masterpiece. It's a perfect album, and I really enjoy listening to it. It this album also features for the very first time a new drummer, Boris Williams, and also it marks the return of Simon Gallup, who went, went from the band after Pornography. So this album is in similar fashion to, the Top and Japanese Whispers. They continue to explore, more popular sound and more, Robert Smith tried to make an album that has different styles, and he was inspired by Susie and the Banshees again, with Kaleidoscope in particular, and he wanted to, to incorporate some of that on his records, and he's gonna do that, throughout. After, on Head of the Door, he's gonna do that on Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, and on Wish, and Wild Mood Swings, and the other albums as well. And I think here it works perfectly. It is only 37 minutes, and we have different, you know, different styles here. And just look, you have popular songs like In Between Days, Close to Me, which is a great pop song. I really like this single version, especially with the horns. Then we have more moodier tracks like A Night Like This, uh, Sinking, and we have also some different instruments as well, like on The Blood, we have more, Spanish guitar. We have songs like Kyoto Song, great song as well. I mean, it is a really enjoyable listen, and it's a relatively short album, and it is one of the best albums from the 80s, and maybe the best one from 1985 in my opinion. So yeah, I have this one at 5 stars. two more albums to go, and this was not even a contest. I mean, I had my number one set in stone from the beginning, so we're gonna talk about that one soon enough. But my number two is also a five-star record, and that is their seventh studio album from 1987, "Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me," recorded in France, and it produced one of their most well-known songs and beloved singles, "Just Like Heaven," one of the best songs of the 80s as well, another poppier tune. And this album continued in a similar fashion to The Head on the Door. It is different styles here, different um, uh, kind of songs on the album. We have more poppier tunes, we have more, darker tunes, more gloomier gothic tunes. And the thing with this album is it is really long. It is 70 and something minutes long, but let me tell you, all killer, no filler here. I like every song here from start to finish. I like the production on it as well. And when you look at it, Hand on the Door was 37 minutes long, and this is like double in size. And in similar fashion, they have those different kind of styles throughout. Some of the best songs here are "Just Like Heaven," the opening track, "The Kiss." I really like "Catch," "If Only Tonight We Could Sleep." Um, then "Why Can't Be You," a great pop song. I heard it live twice, I believe. Really good song as well. I mean, it is one of the best albums of the 80s, in my opinion. I really like it, and I have it at 5 stars easily. And my number one album is, of course, a masterpiece, classic for a reason, and that is Disintegration uh, from 1989. And this album actually got me into listening The Cure when I first heard Lullaby on, I believe I saw the video on MTV or VH1. I don't remember exactly, but it kind of was imprinted on my brain, and I was like, this song is, wow, so atmospheric, so spooky and dark and interesting. That's my favorite Cure song, and it got me into the band that I now really like and love. And the album is brilliant from start to finish. It produced, I don't know how many singles, but all great songs. And uh, thing is with this album, all the long songs here work. I mean, Disintegration is like 9 minutes and something. Then we have Homesick as well. A lot of good songs that are really long in length, but as I mentioned previously, when we talked about their newer releases from Bloodflowers and the Cure self-titled record, I mean, those songs were kind of boring. I mean, they were 10 minutes long or something, but these songs here, keep you, engaged throughout from start to finish, especially Disintegration, which is one of my favorites from the record besides Lullaby. I really like Pictures of You, Fascination Street, great song as well. Then we have Love Song, a classic. I don't know, it is a masterpiece, and it's definitely in my top five favorite albums of all time. I really like listening to it. I've been listening to it every year now for the last 20 something years, and I'm not bored at all. I could listen to this album any day, basically. So yeah, that's gonna be my Cure album ranking. It was interesting, and I'm glad that I did this because I never actually ranked them before, officially at least. So yes, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video, which I believe it is gonna be Porcupine Tree, I decided. So that's gonna be interesting, and you may wonder what the hell is wrong with this guy. He's going like from Swans to The Cure to um, Porcupine Tree. So what's next? Coldplay? Well, maybe. We'll see.